Yeah, and after seeing them in May of '85, graduated in June of '85. You and Christian, a year younger than me and Chuck, you guys graduated in '86.
Yeah.
And so even still in high school, we were going to these, these shows, and the Jockey Club in particular, when we were underage, and playing a lot in clubs like that. I think other than Sudsy's and the Jockey Club, I'm not sure there were even any other venues that we had even cracked into yet at that point. But when
it was after we graduated, because when Christian left, he went to school up at OU, and that's when we did Bogarts and the Battle of the Bands, right? We were a three-piece by that time.
Yeah, it came together right around that time because Christian, like you, graduated in '86. And so, yes, he started college that fall in Athens. And so that would be the end of '86. I know that when he went off to school in Athens, for those of you who don't know, is about a 3-hour drive from Cincinnati. When he went off to school, he had not quit the band. He would still come back and play Speed Hickeys gigs with us. But he only did so for a very short time and finally broke the news to us like, guys, I can't, we weren't playing all that often. It was just a long drive, and it was placing a little too much of a pressure, too much demand on him and his time. And so, yes, he did. We had gigs booked when Christian.
Our first long distance affair. It didn't end poorly. It just fizzled.
Yeah. And he quit because it was too much trouble for him to come back from Athens for our occasional gigs, which I totally understood it then. I totally understand it now, of course. And he's another one we've known for all these years, probably 40 years. And I thank God that we're still friends to this day. But after he left and there were gigs booked, I kind of answering my own question of a few moments ago. We played at the Plaza on Macmillan. You'll recall it was up on the second floor. I want to say it was above a restaurant called the Red Pepper or something like that.
The Red Rooster? No, the Red Pepper? I don't know that one.
I'm not sure, but it was it was a restaurant on the ground floor, and you loaded up these stairs on the outside, and in the side of the building under the second floor, and the bar up there was called the Plaza. I had already seen the Flaming Lips up there around '86 or '87, long time ago, and they were just starting out. I shouldn't say I saw the Flaming Lips there because they had this smoke machine in this tiny little bar. And when they turned on the smoke machine, it filled the whole place. So I heard the Flaming Lips there, but I didn't I don't think I saw them, but maybe I saw the little red lights on their amps through the smoke. But we had a gig book at the Plaza when Christian,
artist.
Yeah, and Christian had announced that he was out of the band. He couldn't make the drive from Athens to be our frontman any longer. And that's when we became a trio with your brother Chuck remaining on drums for another year or so. And at the Plaza, a gig that was booked when Christian was still our singer, but by the time that date rolled around, we were just a three-piece, and I had to sing. I don't know if you remember this. We didn't have a whole lot of instrumentals in our set back then. We had a few. I was so terrified of singing that our first 3 or 4, maybe the first 5 songs of our set were instrumentals. I kept calling out instrumentals to put off taking over as lead vocalist for as long as possible.
Well, it wasn't going to fall to me. I was still staring at my fingers. Hoping not to flub it up too bad.
I have to say, those early days of singing and playing guitar at the same time was like, because I mean, that was a long time ago. So now I know that, like you and I both, that's something that it does become second nature after a while. And if you haven't, you can be a great guitar player and a great singer, but if you haven't done them both at the same time before, My God, it took me a while. You know, we saw more than one time. You and I together went to Ted Nugent concerts, and here was a guy that was singing and screaming and telling jokes, yelling his ass off with that guitar in his playing. He was amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
And, even before we were in any sort of band, we had both been and seen the Raisins, and Rob Fetter's picking and singing. It's like, good God, how does he do it?
Yeah, incredible. Just as much. I am just as much in awe of Rob Fetters today as I was when we first discovered the race in like 82 or 83. We were way underage when I think the first time we saw them was down at Riverfest on the day of the fireworks. And it had rain in the day, and the skies finally cleared, and the Raisins came out and played. And we were so excited to see them because we were kids and we couldn't get into the bars and see them.
Right. Yeah, because it was when the fireworks were cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we were blessed even then with our local scene in those days because you're a product of your environment, and we grew up in an environment where the Raisins were a big thing, and they were even getting played on the radio at the time. You might see them on that Channel 48 show, that Rock Around the Block that was on
Yeah,
the
right.
PBS station. We're blessed that those guys are actually, we're as blessed today as we were then, because those guys are all in some way, shape, or form, they're all active to this day. And even, we're no longer children. I think that we're not necessarily their peers, but we're all working in the same local music scene now for many, many years. I'm really proud to call those guys my friends, to be honest with you.
Yeah, in later years play, share the stage with Bad Bob and Chris Arducer.
Yeah.
Which was a highlight for me.